Shot in the dark, but welcome back to podcast 53.
2.
See, we're back.
-1.
53 minus 1. You got it. We are in the podcast studio, and we have local celebrity Aaron Hendricks.
Yeah, right.
Thanks for joining us, Aaron. We talk a lot about a lot of random stuff throughout the week because we work together. And this is your second one?
Dose.
Podcast Dose.
Better than me.
So what's up?
Nothing.
Got your
Got rain.
got rain.
Maybe some more today.
Yep.
Got
We'll
your
see what those scattered thunderstorms end up being.
Yeah.
It's like impossible to look at the radar and be like, oh yeah, it's gonna hit when they're all like literally just popping.
yeah. If you looked at the future radar, the 24-hour, it was like just green across like the entire Midwest.
Right.
So
So
hopefully those showers hit our food plots.
yeah, I go for another half inch.
You got some down south
Just on the
Couple days
northern
ago.
Missouri, you got. I actually got about
last night.
an inch and a half 2 days ago.
2 days
Oh,
ago.
that's when I got like 0.7
Yeah.
on my farm.
Yep.
Yep.
And that there's a raindrop app you guys can download. I think Aaron found it.
That's what I have.
And I was using the Bushel Farm that you signed me up for. Just got emails with the raindrop. You can drop pins. It's a free app. You can drop pins on all your plots. Pull it up. And 2 nights ago, the family farm got 0.45. It said on the app. And then Jeff, my father-in-law, said we got like right at 0.5 on his gauge. So it's pretty accurate.
You can log. I mean, you can zoom in, tap your actual food plots on
Yeah.
these things. So it's
Free app
Pretty
called
nice.
is it the raindrop or
just raindrop or raindrop.com, I think.
Yeah.
Yep, raindrop. Drop top.
Dropped. Oh, yeah.
I beat you to it.
And then they, yeah, you can pay and go like farther back and all that other stuff.
You can go
so.
48 hours back, month, and then a year to date. So you can see the total average rainfalls.
I haven't looked at that yet.
It's kind of neat. If you guys can see that, probably not, but maybe we can put a link in the description. You guys
Helps
can-
ease our anxiety a little
yes, yes.
bit. Or make it worse,
And
whatever.
it was updated 6 minutes ago. So yeah, raindrop app on iPhones. I'm sure you can probably find it online too. but-
Sponsor us.
Sponsor us. It's a good
Yeah.
plug. So yeah, we got weather coming in tonight. New things on your list. Your hunting rig is finally done, right?
For now, we'll see.
See you later, GMC. Hello, Dodge Ram Hemi.
Sponsor us.
Sponsor us. If you don't drive a Dodge, then can't say that part.
You're a man.
You drive a Chevy.
What you hauling?
I just like to go fast. I got a Hemi in it, boy. All right, back to deer hunting. Aaron,
Yep.
how many tags you got this year?
So this year I have 3 Iowa tags because I got an incentive buck tab for the urban zone, and then 1 in Missouri. Possibly I'm going to be house sitting in North Carolina in December at my brother's, so I might try to kill a deer there.
So you got 5 buck tags?
Potentially, definitely 4.
So it could be a pretty sweet year if you.
Or really disappointing.
Or
We'll
really-
see. But
and-
I got the option to shoot that many.
That's cool.
Yeah, pretty excited about the urban zone because you never know what's going to come through there.
That's true.
We tried to do that. All we saw were
Bucks.
little bucks.
Yeah,
we were trying to get our incentive does out of the way, and I don't think we ever had a shot at one.
No, we had some really weird hunts with that kid shooting guns and then hiding it in the
Yeah.
playground, and it's a lot of random stuff. Crackheads in the neighbor's house, and which end up burning down. But the amount of wildlife in the city limits, this is the east side of Des Moines,
Right.
there's fox, groundhogs, skunks, raccoons, deer.
Yeah,
I mean,
everything.
everything.
Turkeys,
Cooper's
coyotes,
hawks.
coyotes.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. We ran cameras there, I think 2 years, and we had some good deer. Really solid pictures
Yeah.
of nice bucks, but
None
the
of them-
does weren't there.
Yeah, none of them giant jumbos that we get from some people, or them 80s, 90s class deer,
Yeah.
but a bunch
There's
of
one
like,
160.
yeah, like from like 145 to 160, there was a ton
Yeah.
of solid deer. And back then, that was almost 10 years ago,
That
wasn't it?
was a long
8 or 9
time
years ago.
ago.
I mean, that was getting us excited, like getting
yeah.
a 170 on camera now. So
That was on like a 3 acre, maybe not even 3 acres, but
No
yeah.
water buffalo.
No water buffalo. It might have ran through there.
right.
So you got 5 tags. We both got 3.
Yeah.
And I finally had a good deer show up the last couple nights.
Yep.
He's probably 155.
Pretty though.
He's cool. He's got some
I like
trash.
I like that 6-pointer better.
Well, he's an 8. He looks
he an
like a
8?
6, but he's got like a dangle coming off his
Oh,
base.
he's a mainframe 6 though, isn't he?
He's got a couple short G3s.
Okay.
But I wish he was a 6.
Right.
And they were bedded in the clover last night, and that revolver camera was just taking pictures of them constantly. It's kind of cool, and they were moving, and there's like $5 or $6 out there, so it's good to see.
Yeah, I need the beans to turn before they come back onto my farm.
Starting to turn.
I've seen
down the road are.
I've seen a couple driving around, but the ones behind my farm were planted like a month late, so they will probably be in through October.
Right.
Yeah. So
Same on my lease down in Wayne County.
That's like the ones that I sprayed for the guy down the road that you used to hunt by. Those things look lush and green.
Yeah,
so
sexy.
yeah, I'm excited. I'm gonna go to my farm Saturday or Sunday. I got to level out my tower blind before I put the blind on it, and then check the plots. Put up a couple more cameras, just see how that little bit of rain's done, and hopefully the brassicas that I planted are germinate, and hopefully we get this rain again tonight. And if we can get another half inch plus, that'd make me feel a lot better because it's been hot the last couple weeks.
And after this round, there's not any rain in the forecast to speak of.
hopefully we get some of those random showers like we did a couple weeks ago.
But it's also dropping 15, 20 degrees for a high. It's going to be in the 70s for
Can't
highs.
complain about that.
Upper 40s, I think, Sunday night. So that'll get some necks swollen.
Yeah, there's also, if we get this rain, that soil is going to hold the moisture.
Right.
There's a lot of subsoil moisture. And saying that last night, and it's kind of more of a clay type of plot that Morgan.
Oh, yeah.
Mark ended up tilling it up, and Morgan planted it. And he's got a blind right in the middle, and we put out some pine rub posts. And I took the auger over there, augered 2 holes, and all that, just that clay and that dirt was all moist. So
Nice.
as long as them plants can get down through there and get some moisture, they'll keep growing.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to chance it, I think, this weekend. I'm going down to my lease. I was going to interseed some brassicas in the beans because I know the beans will still hold some moisture.
Oh, yeah.
Shady.
And rye too. Did you?
Maybe rye just because it's going to grow a little quicker because their time frame's getting
Yeah,
a little.
you open the 15th, right?
Yeah, but this is my lease in Iowa.
Oh, the Iowa one.
Because there's beans there, but obviously they're going to harvest them, and I'd like to have something there for.
Yeah, and there's a couple big dogs running around there too.
Yeah, got 2. I've only got 2 pictures of them so far, but summer pictures I don't really care about.
Right.
Yeah.
Where did we buy our rye last year?
Crossroads.
Is that where we?
Yeah, Cold Snap winter rye variety. It was like, I want to say $30,
What time did they
$33.
close?
They have some in. I called last weekend.
What time did they close though?
Probably
close early.
5.
If we get out of here in time, I might.
You'll
grab
probably
a
have
bag.
time.
I might grab a bag, or I'll swing by and see if I drive right by there, see if they have it, and
Yeah.
grab a bag or two because I might throw it out on the edges of the CRP that's mowed and all that good stuff. And
More the merrier.
Yep.
right,
Yeah, and
Food plots in Missouri. Of course, I drilled those. They're doing pretty good.
I'm good.
Yeah.
But down there, you put up a fence to keep the deer out until season. Then you
Yeah, open them up usually mid-October, late October, because that's when the landowner comes down.
that fence works. And a lot of people don't use this fence; they use electric fence. Which one of our buddies, Adam Lubenthal, up in Northeast Iowa, he's got a high deer density in this area, and he's got a double row, and he can't keep the deer out. He sends me snaps every night, and it sucks because his plot would have looked awesome, but the deer are jumping over, getting in there, and where I think if you had this, it was 8 foot tall
this
mesh.
It's 7 foot, but I mean they can bust through it accidentally, but
What kind of is it like? It's like a fabric mesh,
it's like heavy duty plastic. I got it in Menards,
like a giant roll of it.
but it works. Like that one plot I showed you, outside the plot was the inside the plot it was probably 16 inches.
is it like chain link only?
But it's
No, it's like a fabricy mesh
it's like
rubber.
a smaller snow fence
Okay,
kind of thing, but comes in 100-foot rolls.
nice.
I get 8-foot T-posts, drive them.
Foot in the ground.
It's tedious putting them up because you got to zip tie it. You got to have somebody pulling them tight, somebody zip tying.
You gotta get on a ladder to get the tallest part.
You can reach it.
You can reach it. Okay. So yeah, that would be something to test out, and obviously you've done it, so it works.
Yeah.
Takes some, like last year I had to go back a couple times because the deer did tear holes in them. And I'd have
Because
to
they're
patch
running
them up.
through on accident.
Yeah, but last year I didn't do it this year, which I might pay for it. But I was taping surveyor's tape like every other section so they could see it, especially at night because it's black. The
Oh, okay.
fence is black, just to give them a little more.
So that night, they're
Visual
probably a new deer comes through and
Right.
gets spooked or something, or run around and boom.
Right. And the worst case scenario is if they get in, then they kind of freak out when they try to get out, and that's when they really start. Like I saw that when I went down there before I had it up, but still we had sections of it up, and there was a fawn in there, and it took off running just right into
Yep.
it, collapsed, ran into
Yep,
it.
just
and
like
then
anything
collapsed.
wild. I'm not sure if I can tell that elk story, but we had one that was in a pen that we trapped and then busted down the 10-foot tall fence to get out.
Even with electric fences, though, like the deer that learn to jump it, you're not going to stop them from doing it after that. But if it keeps, 75, 80, 90% of the deer out, it's going to
Yeah,
get ahead
and
of
back to that, there's a garden where I was hunting nude on that point.
Right.
I sit on that
yeah.
point and I watch the guy garden, and it's, I don't know if it's 8 or 9 foot tall. I mean, it is tall, and I watch deer scale that thing to get into his garden every night.
Right.
Pretty athletic.
Well, even like next to my farm, the guy raises coyote dogs, so he has a 7 or 8 foot tall woven wire fence around a big section of his farm. It's one of my border fences, but there's a gap, about an 8 foot gap between the property line and that, and there's deer that jump it.
Oh, yeah.
That's what this is, woven wire.
Crazy.
Yep, yeah, the 4-inch squares.
Yep.
Yep,
and
yep.
the deer jump it, and
Welded wire, yeah.
yep. So you can only do so much.
Yeah,
just
you can
prevent
try. Yeah, they're pretty athletic creatures.
Like this year with my beans, it's only like 2/3 of an acre. I just ran one level, but I did 3 rows.
Right.
But I don't have deer density down there. My farm just, as of right now, doesn't hold a bunch
Right.
of deer. There's a couple does and fawns, and then you have half a dozen bucks that'll go through, and there'll be more deer there later. But right now, it's like literally 2 does and a couple fawns, and that's all that live.
That's
right
how mine usually is, but the last few nights, the bucks, the bachelor groups have come through and they're pinning their ears back, and it's kind of cool watching them bed together. And pretty soon they're starting to drop. I think I have buck number 5 yesterday come by without any velvet on. So
I got one.
I think that, like, we kind of got excess of rain there for a little bit, so it was a pretty good growing season. I think the fact there's more food will probably keep the deer from wanting to jump the fences so much.
yeah, it spreads them out too.
Right.
Definitely on like all the cell cams on the various properties, you don't see a lot of the deer that you did like the last couple of years on this time frame. But once we get this cold snap, it might change a little bit. They'll be coming
the
through,
next
just
few
checking
weeks.
some things out and checking the doe groups out before things really turn south. So this weekend, y'all got plans to go do stuff deer hunting
Yeah.
related?
Yeah, got to, like I said, do that tower on my farm. I'm probably going to leave the fence up in the beans for another week or 2. I'll pull it a few weeks before youth season. Put out some more cameras on my uncle's. But yeah, just a bunch of little random,
Yeah, and
checking stuff out,
Right.
random loose end sort of things.
you're heading down south.
I'm gonna go to Missouri. I got to mow some trails, and so one piece of property down there where the bigger deer we've got on camera now is there's 0 cell service. So Greg and I were talking about it. It's really fun to go pull cards. So I'm hanging some more regular cameras down there just because the season opens September 15th down there.
Got to pull those out of the tote that you had stored away for a
Yeah,
while.
they got a little dust on them.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
I sold a bunch of mine. I bet you I probably have 15 to 20 regular cameras still.
Yeah.
And I only have I have a few DS4Ks out. The most active one's been behind my house.
Yeah, I probably have 6 or 7 just DS4Ks. I think I gave all my Muddy Pro Cams away, but
I'm going to test out I got 2 of the new Deceptor Maxes and 2 new Fusions that are dual service because that lease that I got service is really spotty.
test
Some of the
networks out.
Right. Some of the cameras I put out this time sent me a few pictures. Some of them haven't sent me any. So hopefully they'll pick up a little bit of slack down there.
Yeah, I had one camera last weekend I switched out, and I switched it out. The camera worked here. I put it out, I sent a couple pictures, and it stopped. And my father-in-law went down there, and it's like, well, you put the battery in wrong. So it was a user error on my part, and he flipped it around and now it's working. But
I'm shocked that it worked at all.
I know,
Back
yeah.
and
I think
backwards.
maybe there's a series of the 4 or 8 of the 16 or whatever. Half of them work for a while, or
Like, yeah, it's got the circuit.
yeah. So something.
Because I didn't think that would work.
I didn't think so either, but they sure sent pictures
Yeah, that's crazy.
for about 3 days. But this weekend I'm going to be cutting up. I think I'm going to go to the Iowa game. Jen got tickets to the 50-yard line, so she
Nice.
wants to go do that. But I got a couple big oak trees on the trail I need to cut down. I need to get up my muddy blind and fix some cameras. The guy did the last cutting of hay, so I'll be putting the revolver where it was. And it's tweaking cameras, getting things ready, maybe hang up some more hemp rope in certain areas. And the white pine rub poster, it's might be a little early, but I'm going to put some out anyway.
Yeah.
So-
I might grab one while I'm here and put it out. I don't know where I'll put it. Like, that's the weird thing with my farm. Last year I had it in Nebraska plot where my corn is now. Well, now there's corn everywhere, so I really can't put it right where it was, but that thing absolutely got pounded
Did it?
last
Did you
year.
have camera on it?
Yeah, I had that Big 10 I was after was on it all the time. Both those big bully 8s were on it all the time. I mean, I put it in like probably 14 to 16 inches in the ground, and by the time season was over, the hole was like 10 inches around where they would bore it out and just
Yeah.
pushing around, and I'd go back in there because I tried to center the camera on it where it was, and then it would be all off to the side
Yeah.
because then I had a branch where it was a scrape, and all of a sudden I would just see the back end of a deer. I'm like, oh crap! Now I got
Yeah.
to turn it this way, and you're shoving sticks in there to try to keep it
You
straight.
put a 360 on it, so then if it moves, you get everything. But I had the same way, but it was in the backyard last year. It worked awesome. There's deer hitting it. They were ripping it out of the ground, and I put it
Right.
back in. And the one I did at my family farm was down kind of in that creek crossing. I had a camera on it. It was on a stick and pick camera, and nothing would come hit it. As soon as I moved that camera out of there, the thing got tore out of the ground. So
Right.
I don't know how that happened, but you almost got to quick create them in for them to
Well,
stay.
and we've had a buddy that kind of told us a lot about him, Tim. If you have private ground, he actually concreted in a piece of PVC.
That's smart.
And then it's, like 4-inch PVC. So you put it in there, then you take a screw
Yep.
and you screw through the
smart.
PVC into it. So worst case scenario, it snaps it off.
Right.
Unscrew it, put a new one in.
Unscrew it, drop it down, put it right back in. But that way, if you're always going to have one there,
Yeah, it makes sense.
you just replace it.
And these are super easy to go find. Find a white pine that needs limbed up, and you don't want to take the dead pine because there's a
They need some sap in them.
yeah. They got to make sure there's sap, and when you cut them, that they're moist. Because the deer like that soft.
Scent and everything.
Yeah. Yep. So they rub the crap out of it, and I think you got to make sure you got the variety. You're not getting the Scotch pine or any of the other varieties. Get the white pine, works the best. And if you take a picture and send it to us or send it to someone that's knowledgeable on trees, I'm sure they can help you out if you want to try it. But
Look at the needles; it'll tell you right away. I don't know what it looks like, but you could easily figure it out.
yeah, a lot of the pines are. You can attest to this. It's hard for the non-knowing eye to know exactly what to get. So it's white pine's what you want, and super easy. Get postal auger, or you can do it with a shovel. The electric auger is a little much. I think it makes a little bit too big of a hole.
Or the horizontal rub route. That's
Yeah.
what I put up in Missouri mostly.
Did it work?
Oh, yeah. They
See, I-
tear them up.
I've done 2. I did one out in a food plot, the swing one that I showed you that Casey helped me put up, and then I did one up in the interior food plot, and the turkeys would jump on there and hang out, but I never had a deer hit it.
Really.
But the vertical one, it's a lot easier to put up. You don't have to put 2 posts or find 2 trees. You just auger a little hole, make sure you stomp it down good.
Interesting.
I might try the PVC thing.
That's smart.
If you find a good spot for it.
Yeah, if you know, hey, this is like a pinch. This is where I'm always going to have a spot where that's permanent. Then yeah, that's what I would say to do. But I don't know if I'm going to get to it this year. It's just
Another thing to add to the list.
yeah, and like I'm thinking where I'm probably going to put one is in the back, in that back plot, where I'm going to try to kill that deer on my farm.
Has he been around?
No, I haven't got pictures of him in
Yeah.
two and a half weeks.
It means he's going to show up.
I know where he is
Next
though.
few weeks.
Like I said, I know where he is.
Yeah.
He's eating beans on the other side of the section, so I know he's there. Haven't worried about EHD right there, unless he gets hit by a car or something like that. let him do his thing right now. He's safe. It's not like he's,
Yeah.
Safe until youth season.
I mean,
Yeah.
summertime, I would
Well.
almost, I think I talked to you about it. I almost rather get random pictures of bucks in the summer because I know that's the ones that are
yeah.
Gonna make the
kinda
loop.
testing their home range out and going for a walk.
Yep.
And I had more pictures of him last year during the season than the last 3 seasons together because I bought this farm from my buddy Nick, and we did a 3D shoot last weekend, and we were talking about it, going back through pictures, and he's like, "Oh yeah, this is the deer," and he was always a homebody, but we didn't have a lot of pictures of him. But last year he showed up like the 14th or 15th of October, and he was there a lot.
Right.
Then I filled my buck tag in the first 2 weeks of November, and then he daylighted like 13 days in a row. And
Yeah.
I'm like, yep,
Yep.
go
It
figure.
works.
Yep.
That's
now
how
now
it
it's
works, so.
this is the year hopefully and
Yeah.
in that chapter, and it's exciting. I've got a couple nice deer on camera, nothing like y'all got, but I have those spots where he could show up and it could be a slam dunk.
Right.
So I'm betting on that, and you get to start your season in like what
2 weeks from Sunday.
the 15th.
Yep.
That's exciting.
There's a lot of good deer down there this year. So
That's good.
And I got, talking about private, but I've got a lot of cameras out on public too now. I've got like about a quarter of the state covered.
That's good. So you got some options.
Yeah. You can't have too many options.
That's right.
Yeah, I have one farm north of my house. I think I have a camera there where it was left over from turkey season.
A turkey farm.
Yep. And it's just, and last year there was a deer until they left Velvet. He was a tight, heavy, like 6x6, probably 5 or 6 years old. We both went back and forth. You're like, he might be bigger than you think he is if you see him, and he just kind of disappeared.
Really?
But there's always been decent deer there. It's just it's so small and it's really hard to
Hard to
hunt.
get into.
It's hard to get into, and so I don't really hunt it. Like my daughter killed a doe out there last year, but yeah, it's.
Maybe get that camera up and going in case he is there, and you can sneak in.
I'm gonna ride the e-bike back in there, and I'll have batteries, and bring maybe one bag of corn just to
See what's
whatever's
there.
there,
Draw
just
'em in.
suck
Yeah.
people in, suck it in right there, and have see who's around. It's all beans, so it should be decently easy to
Right.
be like, okay, well they're coming from here. Let's pinch them down into this
Yeah,
spot
and
see what
if
we
you
got.
put a bag out, you got a month of season.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
it'll be gone.
Oh, yeah, it'll be gone. There's
Especially with
so-
the raccoons
there's
and
so
stuff.
many kids out there.
That's one thing I was actually talking to Aaron today about it. I used to do that all the time, where I go get a bag and throw it out just to see what's there. And this year, it's like, well, I kind of know what's going to happen.
Yep.
I'll get those sporadic pictures of, oh, that looks like a good deer. Well, hopefully, I get a better picture of them. Where
Right.
Yeah, and like I said, the couple places I put out corn last like a few weeks ago. One is where I got that big one of my uncles in the bottom because I know they show up at a certain time. They're always there,
Right.
and I just want to get them there and hold them there. And yeah, I got a ton of pictures of does and fawns and coons and turkeys right there. But it used to be, 8-9 years ago, I would fill up my pickup bed.
Oh yeah.
Go to the elevator, fill it full,
Yeah.
and just shovel it
Shovel
out.
it out.
Go to the next camera, shovel
yeah,
out.
you even came over here and put some out in front of my camera. And I got some really cool pictures of Carlos out in the field south of here. Remember
Yeah,
that
yeah.
when they baled that
Yep.
for hay?
Yeah, the landowner down south, he's got one of the pull behind grain bins. I think it's like a 3,000 pound, and he puts out
It's out quite a
he
bit of
puts
corn.
out a big pile of corn every spot.
Yeah.
Just opens the gate and lets her eat.
That's funny.
It's a good way to inventory deer. See what's
is.
around.
It has its place.
Right.
It definitely does. But just looking back on how I used to do cameras, like if I could take my knowledge now and go back 20 years ago, 15 years ago, like how many big deer I know I never got pictures of because
Yeah.
they were in horrible spots.
Right.
You weren't putting them right. You were doing something different.
Yep.
It's like,
Well, we
man.
did it like, oh yeah, this is a good spot. Well, when it wasn't, it was just a random like, yeah, I want to get in and get out of here.
Right.
Yep.
There's some deer tracks.
Yeah, there's deer tracks. Okay.
Oh, there's two.
There's a
look at
fence
this,
post there.
2 crossings. This is perfect, and I can just put it on this tree right here. And it's like, why'd I only get does in like that one 3-pointer?
Yeah, and we never back in the day, we never put cameras on scrapes. Like scrapes were so underrated back then.
Right.
We knew there were scrapes and rubs, and a lot of times people are like, oh, scrapes are on a tree and rubs are on the ground. And it's the opposite of that, but
In North Carolina, it was trails or corn piles. That's it. You
Yeah.
can bait down there. So
Yeah, I used to put a lot of cameras on rubs like
Yeah.
old rubs, and then you realize like
Yeah.
very
Right.
seldom do you have a good rub that gets hit year after year after
Right.
year after year, like those
And
signpost
then
rubs.
the one tree, going back to the urban stuff, we had one tree that we had a camera on the rubs, and that's where we got the big deer at
Yeah.
in the backyard there, which
I might put a white pine in my backyard.
should.
Yep.
There's 3 or 4 pretty
You
solid
just-
deer
I saw
running
that,
around.
yeah.
And
Yeah, you could just
That's what
take
I'm gonna
from
do
the
that
top of the fence. You could just zip tie it and let it be
Let
kind
it
of
dangle?
let it dangle.
Big old rub scrape.
Yeah, rope scrape.
I'm gonna go out there right now. When I get home, I'm gonna go put it out. Go dig a hole in the
There
backyard.
you go. You talk to city council about getting a urban zone there.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, as long as I can shoot it out of off my deck.
Well, your neighbors. I mean, hey,
Well, most of my neighbors
everybody,
live
be
here.
quiet tonight. I'm gonna hunt.
Well, the funny thing is, like, I was looking at some of them and watching the videos. You can like hear kids across on the other side of the neighborhood, like yelling. Like you can actually hear what they're saying. And
It's
here's
DS4Ks. Don't
here's
you know?
these
they're-
two,
it's-
160 plus inch class deer just chilling at the bird feeder.
Right. Yeah, I mean that's their normal, I guess.
Yeah.
Just
Yep.
like in the urban zone where I hunt. I mean, I've had conversations with people from my tree stand, like people walking
yeah.
through and then kill a
Hey,
deer.
what you doing up there?
deer. Yeah, you
I don't
see
know. I'm in
anything?
camouflage, looking at birds.
I
Yeah.
I was hoping to see something. Somebody wanted to stop
Or
or something.
sometimes people run deer into you. I had that happen last year.
Yeah.
It's different. It's got its own set of challenges.
Yep. Everybody that I dealt with was pretty supportive, though. I didn't get anybody freaking out on me. So
Let's chat about that for a second. So people, I think we talked about this last year, but any new followers, there's the Hush program used to be pretty popular here in Iowa, and that's kind of going away. Not a lot of lockers are doing it, but now there's a new system. I'll let Aaron kind of dive into this. It's all electronic, and I won't ruin it for you, but you talk to us about.
yeah, so I think it's called the Deer Exchange. It's on the DNR website where hunters can register. People that want deer can register, and they can also put how they want the deer. Like, will they take a whole deer? Do they want it cut up?
Or do they want it processed,
Do they
which
want it
that's kind of
processed?
weird to, you're going to pay.
They would
to
have to. I feel like they'd have to reimburse you if you.
or they would pay for it and say, hey, I'm going to take it to this
Right.
locker. You can do it.
But like last year, my urban zone, I had a guy there who would literally meet me in the parking lot, and I would drag the deer out of my truck into his truck.
Yeah, you would go back, but you had to call it in, take a picture of the
I had to cut a notch in the
notch in the ear.
register it with the county or the municipality, register with the DNR. Well, DNR first.
Did someone have to come see it though too?
No, you just had to take pictures.
Take
and
pictures and submit
the
it? Okay.
Yeah, with the tag and the notch cut, and it's just got to be really
But
documented.
that was the urban thing, but it also falls back into the statewide thing too, because I donated 1 or 2 deer from a guy at the KOA campground. He came and got them, and he's super excited. And
Yeah.
so there's a lot of people out there, and it's mapped out too, right? There's a map that
Right.
shows areas.
What
So if
does
you
that
shoot,
show?
About that.
What town they're in?
So I
Yeah.
don't have to keep every deer and turn them into
No.
jerky. And
no,
stuff?
you can
No.
donate them to a family in need, and that's one thing. So Jace was new to hunting last year, and he shot a doe, and we had plenty of deer meat, but he still wanted to deer hunt, so we had him a doe tag, shot a doe, and we had a Hispanic family come and get it, and they were super excited. So I taught Jace that, like, hey, we're gonna give back to
Right.
another family in need, and so
Super easy too. I mean, like I had some random people contact me because you put your number and your email and everything. So I had people, hey, I'm so and so. If you kill a deer, I'd like to have
yeah,
it.
and some of the guys are hunters, like the guy
Right.
from over east of here. He shotgun hunts once or twice a year, but he loves deer meat, lives off
Right.
deer meat. So then we made him happy by getting him a couple deer. And
Yep.
Yeah,
It helps everybody out.
I mean, I remember way back. I mean, I was little. My dad couldn't go deer hunting one year. He had knee surgery, and he was on with. And this is obviously not the same system, but with the sheriff. And somebody had hit one with their car, and they were like, "Hey, we got this fresh deer. You're on the list. You want to come and get it?" So we went out there and
yeah.
field dressed it there in the ditch and loaded it up and took it to the locker.
And I will say this about the whole hitting him with a car. I ran one over last year, and so did one of our coworkers. And I went and got the one that he hit, and man, that thing was mangled up.
Oh, it
Like,
can be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was
Tenderized.
the blood all, I mean, it was, so the shooting them and getting them that way is probably the best. But yeah, the sheriff
yeah.
still does that.
Right.
Like I know a couple officers and they still have those lists out there.
Yep.
'Cause you
Yeah,
gotta
probably
do-
guys that used to hunt that they don't have their families around anymore
Yep.
to
Right.
get them for them, but they still want the deer meat. And
Or you have to drive an hour and a half to find a locker that takes them.
Yeah, and any way that anybody that's listening that you can help out, I mean, that's going to benefit them. That's going to benefit you, and it makes you feel good. Like, hey, this meat is going to a family
I
in
mean,
need.
I'd probably do it because this, man.
Yeah, you get the amount of people probably just in the Ankeny
Yeah,
alone.
because I have some friends that are always like, hey, if you shoot a deer or something and you don't want it,
Right.
like, well, I don't want. I mean, are you going to use it? You know,
Right.
Yeah.
do you want it? Yeah, that's fine.
But
You know?
then a lot of our friends are like, well, I want it when it's cold out or it's on a weekend. It's like, hey, look, I'm going to shoot you a deer. You want this thing? I'm happy to do so.
Yep.
Helps with the herd population in your different, areas, and especially around here, like we need more doe shot.
Right.
So-
'Cause, and you find that different places that either guys will do it like down south, they do it late season and just slaughter
Oh, yeah.
20, 30 of them a night.
Right.
And then just donate them all to somebody. They obviously have something set up with people to begin with, but no, I had no idea that there was a,
Yeah, it's
thing.
on there. I think it's called the Deer Exchange.
Maybe we can link that in the description on YouTube.
I'll have to find it and
Yeah, it's really easy.
look at it a little
Register.
bit more.
That's interesting. It's good to know. So,
Yep.
Yeah.
what else you guys got?
Nothing. Dove season starts in a couple days.
Yeah, Sunday.
When this is out, I'll already be shooting at doves.
I'm gonna take Luna and Jace out and just try to shoot a couple. We have a new seating down below that Aaron mowed, and there's probably a few doves hanging out there.
Yeah.
I think the doves from hearing from a lot of guys, like Brady down the road, who's got a sunflower plot, and then a couple other guys that I know down south. He said I had doves show up, and the other guys had doves completely leave from that last little cold front we had when it was nice and cool out. So hopefully this one that's coming in brings some doves down from Minnesota.
Will.
Yeah, I drove around the field that I'm going to hunt, and then one of my buddies is going to go with. I saw maybe 50 or 60 last
Yeah.
night.
Yeah, Deer Doors had none on it, and that's a sweet corn field that's completely mowed. So
That's weird. Usually there's a big old flock of pigeons that flies around.
yeah, there was 2 pigeons there, but we've hunted there a couple times. I think back-to-back years and done fairly good. It's just so big, and the doves have everywhere
They
to
can go wherever
land.
they want. That's the biggest issue, and typically that's how mine is. But this year it's not all dirt in the middle; it's all beans, weedy beans, and they did mow a nice little chunk out. I think they mowed around the seed corn
Yeah.
around the edge, and then they did a chunk that's probably 30 yards a circle, and I'm like,
That's where you're sitting.
perfect. I'm sitting right here. Put the avians out and let them eat.
I didn't get the dove hunting bug.
Oh, I love it.
I haven't hunted doves since I was like 10 years old or so.
It's until you go, like it's fun once you get out there. Then all of a sudden you're driving home looking at every dove on the power line, like,
Yeah,
well, I
right.
want to shoot you, and
Yep, I have them in my yard all the time,
Yep.
and it definitely depends on where you go. Like we've had before, a lot of people did it. We had some hunts on public. That were
the first 5 or 6 years on
insane.
public.
Like I mean, I don't know. You miss 5 times as many as you hit.
Right.
And there's 10 or 15 guys in the plot with you, and you're all, talking to each other. You're all safe. Hey, I'm going to get a dove, blah, blah, blah. Or, hey, you're right. Like with the guys that couldn't hit a single thing a few years ago, they're like, screw this. We're going underneath the roost tree, and they let it land and boom, and shoot it out of the roost tree.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I love it. It's so much fun, and what I enjoy about it is you can do it at first light, do it 8 o'clock, do it at 10,
Right.
noon, 3 o'clock. Doesn't really matter. Like I found, I don't think there's a better time
Yeah.
to do it one way or another.
It's just
at least
fun to
feel
get
better.
out too,
Yeah.
before deer season. But like down south, like in Missouri, I don't know if it's northern Missouri we're at, but they have sunflower fields. They'll end up like burning them. Like they'll have like you have to go in and pick a draw where you're going to sit and what field you're going to hunt.
So
Like
when
it's
I
pretty
learned
extreme.
official, yeah.
When I went to Kentucky last year deer hunting, it was opening weekend of dove.
I remember your snaps.
Holy cow. And I mean, so there's giant fields that are all sunflowers, and they just go and mow them. And they leave strips that are like maybe 10 feet wide, and there's just strips. And you have, there's pickups lined up for
Down the
2
highway.
miles down the highway, and there are groups of guys sitting 8 feet away from each other, and there's 200 spinners out there, and there's just guys just shooting everywhere, and I'm like, not a chance.
No thanks.
No,
Yeah, that's
like,
why I want to take Jason and Luna and just go out and see if we can see one or two and just
yeah, shoot a couple and just
see if my gun falls apart this year.
yeah.
Don't buy that shotgun. I don't even remember what kind
I'm
it
on
is.
dove hunt, so it don't really matter.
Yeah,
It's an Escort. Don't buy Escort.
I have a SX4 I bought last year. I had such an issue with my 20 gauges not cycling and probably the rounds, and I said nope. I was pounding the doves, and I'm like, I don't want to take my, my goose gun and change the choke and all this
Right.
stuff. So I went and found a used one up at Jack's. I think I paid like $600 for it.
That's why I've never trusted semi-automatic shotguns. I've had too many jam on me.
Yeah, and I mean, I have probably
I use pumps.
I probably have
anything.
6 870s.
Right.
In all different setups, 20 or 12s or home defense or turkey guns, like all different kinds. And I mean, it's hard to beat.
That's what I should just take my Winchester 1300 because it's proven. I've killed a lot of things with it, but that Escort semi-auto, it looks cool. It just falls apart. Like every year we've gone, it's like, here Greg is with 2 pieces of a gun. Hey Jesse, can I use your gun?
Yeah, it's like let's take the
Beat him to
picture.
death.
And instead of the hero pictures with all the doves,
Yeah.
Greg's always got his 2 pieces of his gun because
Yeah,
it's falling apart. At
yeah.
least a couple years in a row, we had pictures.
Escort,
That's funny.
poorly made. Do not sponsor us.
Sorry.
Sorry. But
Yeah, I mean, besides that, then you roll into youth season here.
is it the 22nd?
Probably 20
Close.
something.
Somewhere
Something like
around
that.
there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, there'll be guys. We got team members in Kentucky that'll be starting this weekend.
Yep.
I completely forgot
On
about
Saturday,
Sunday.
The
Sunday.
8th.
No, yeah,
It's the 8th.
it starts 8, so it's a week later.
Okay.
I was talking to Dalton
week
about that.
So
Saturday.
yeah, then those guys got some good deer to chase too. So that'll be interesting to see that play out. And I might go down and film Aaron the 15th. That's a Sunday, right?
Yep.
So
Nice.
we'll see.
Don't ask me why it
Perfect.
opens on a Sunday. I don't
Apparently, my
understand.
card's running out.
Card is going dead, so we are done.
Adios.
Thanks for watching.